How's it going, guys? So today I'm here to talk about Labyrinth Zone and Sonic 1. So if you ask a lot of Sonic fans, they'll tell you that this is one of the worst Sonic zones of all time. It's the bane of their existence. It greatly decreases the entertainment and fun factor of Sonic 1. It's horrible, it's terrible, it's no good, it's very bad, it's water, oh my god, I don't even want to take a bath because there's water in this stage. It's enough already, guys. Labyrinth Zone isn't that bad, and I'm actually here to say that I think it's actually pretty good. Yeah, I actually enjoy this level. I like this part of Sonic 1. I think that it's healthy for the game. I think it's interesting. I think it's experimental. I think it's a curveball. I think it's just good, okay? And I'm going to tell you exactly why I do feel that way. So, there are a number of reasons, and one of the ones is the aesthetic. It looks like there's fucking screaming penguins in the tiles. I mean, this is supposed to be a flooded temple of sorts. It's really interesting looking. I especially like the background. I think it's a really aesthetically pleasing zone. I really do think so. I think it definitely has a very interesting and distinct look to it. And when I think of Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm not even kidding. This place really does cross my mind. And it is really a well-designed stage. And I'm even talking about that from a gameplay perspective. It's a really good deviation. So Sonic is fast, slow him down, let him go in the water. There's a lot of very interesting elements at play here. There's also a lot of trial and error. You could easily die on these spikes if you're not careful. You can easily drown if you decide to pass up on an air bubble. You can definitely drown. It's probably not a good idea to do that. Now, if you're playing the Sonic Forever mod like I am, you can get a bubble shield, which is really handy. So that's an added bonus, and I don't really see anything wrong about sharing that little piece of advice because, let's face it, there's a lot of people that already know about this mod, and people that are playing other versions of the game as it is so. I don't think there's any problem with that. And I think that this offers up a great deal of challenge. And you definitely can't waste too much time here. You have to watch what you're doing. Like if you run into an Orbot, you better hope that you grab the last air bubble you saw because you can't really run through this guy too easily. You're gonna have to wait for him to go through the whole animation of throwing every last spiky ball at you. And it can be frustrating, but it's definitely a challenge. Especially when it comes to the boss of this stage. It's an obstacle course. You actually can't defeat Eggman here. It's just an obstacle course. You just have to follow him to the end of it. And if you don't know what to expect, like me when I was a kid, you're going to die here constantly. And I think this is pretty interesting because up to this point, you had to defeat Eggman. You had to go against him in his egg mobile, and whatever device he had attached to it, you had to overcome it. But here, you're not really overcoming himself at all. You're overcoming the obstacle course that he is flying through, and I think that that's a nice little touch. And probably the most memorable part of Labyrinth Zone for me has got to be the repeating sequence in Act 3, which is very much akin to Zelda and the Lost Woods, which you'll see in the first game and then again in Ocarina of Time. I think it's really cool how you could just keep repeating the same slides over and over again unless you use the momentum to jump off to the left and hit a switch which reveals a hidden path. So that to me is something extremely memorable and cool, and I always love the sound effect that it makes when you hit the switch and that part of the wall opens up. That was always a really memorable moment. And it's cool that there's a secret, because up to this point, you never really saw anything quite like this in the game. If you don't catch on to what's happening, you'll just keep repeating through the sequence. And this actually reminds me of that castle in Super Mario Brothers, where you're just walking to the right and you keep going and you notice that it keeps repeating itself. And then you realize, well, I better try something different. And that's kind of what we got going on here. And despite the name of the zone, this place really isn't that maze-like. It doesn't really feel like a true labyrinth. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some dead ends, but there's usually at least rings or a monitor that you can find. So it's never really a total loss, even when you do hit a dead end. And air bubbles are never that far off, so it doesn't really feel like that much of an inconvenience. And last but not least, why do I like Labyrinth Zone? I really enjoy the music here. Yeah, I know a lot of people said they don't like that twangy sound. It's definitely a different sounding track compared to all the other tracks in Sonic 1, but I actually really like it. I think it's like a fun, kind of wacky sounding tune, and it definitely fits the stage. And I really like it. It truly is one of my favorite Sonic tracks of all time. And I know that could be controversial to say so, but making a video like this saying I like Labyrinth Zone is controversial in itself. So, hey guys, I'm pretty used to controversy here on YouTube and controversial opinions and going against the grain, but not going against the grain just to be cool or edgy. I don't really think it's that edgy to, be saying I like a level in a Sonic game from 1991. So, hey guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Comment below and let's discuss. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Hit the dislike button if you fucking hated it. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can definitely do so. The link is below. I would really appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get all notifications when I post on my new videos. And thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.